Hey, so I'm Josh Lowman, and this is How Do You Make That Fucking Awesome Thing. This is a new show that we're doing. We learn the process and tools behind great work. A lot of it is AI stuff. Today, I'm talking with Kavan. Did I say that right, Kavan?
It's a Kavan.
Kavan. Oh, okay. I had a friend named Kavan, so Kavan Cardoza, aka Kavan the Kid. He's an LA-based filmmaker and co-founder of Phantom X AI, which is a film shop that kind of proves you don't need to follow a traditional like Hollywood formula to make something epic. Kavan made an AI concept trailer that I saw on LinkedIn. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. So first, I just want to say welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Uh, Great. Okay, so where'd you get the idea from to do this in the first place? Like, where were you? Like, what were you doing when you thought of this?
Like in regards to AI in general.
Sorry, the thing that I'm thinking of is the Perfect Dark trailer. That was
Oh,
the
okay.
thing I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
The
Um,
funny thing is too is like so the Perfect Dark trailer when I put it out is like it was 3 months old. So like that was like a really cool thing to see like a lot of people like enjoy it and stuff because like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna put this out because I thought we, like as we did that at Phantom X, like I thought, we did a good job and it looked really good. But essentially going into because again that one's like I briefly mentioned it in the post, so I'll briefly say without going into too much details, but essentially we were talking to Microsoft about doing something with Perfect Dark. And so we created a concept trailer based off of the original N64 game, which was one of my all-time favorite games growing up. And that's why it didn't come out right away. So we made that. It was shared internally and everything. And then those things never came to fruition. So, I had this trailer and we didn't, sign any things with Microsoft or any of that. It was essentially a fan made trailer if you really break it down. And so I was like, yeah, this was a cool project that we made. Let's stick it out in the world. And so we did, and and it had a great response and everything. So it was a lot of fun. That was coming off, I believe I put that out like right after putting out the trailer for a book series that I was writing that I'm now developing into a show called Untold, and that like had like a mass viral exposure, uh, and so we just thought it would be fun to capitalize on that and put something since we had this other project just sitting in the chamber.
yeah, it's funny because I never played Perfect Dark. I didn't know what it even was until I saw your trailer. But just because I saw N64 in there, like I could kind of backwards deconstruct what the video game looked like in my mind based on the trailer that you made, and I could kind of get the coolness and humor, a little bit of humor of it, just imagining that there was an N64 game of this trailer.
Yeah, no, I mean it was literally, for me, I loved it so much. If you're familiar with the N64 game GoldenEye, which is like one of the most, famous ones, the James Bond GoldenEye game, it was essentially that, but with like a sci-fi element to it. So there's like all these like crazy guns, like the laptop gun, the Farsight, and like there's also like as you see in the trailer that I made, like with the alien, his name's Elvis in the game. You hang out with him and he's just this short, big-headed alien because they took the people who invented the game took a lot of inspiration from X-Files and the 1950s alien sightings and stuff like that, and then they wanted to add in the James Bond level secret person espionage. So it was a lot of fun to play in that world. Um, Always down, have a great show idea if Microsoft does ever want to develop that into a game. I mean, into a film or a show. I think as a show, it would just be so incredible. The world is so expansive, so it
Uh,
was a lot
uh,
of fun.
okay, so take me back to like the very first thing that you started doing to make this thing. Did you like write out a script or like how did you do it?
Yeah, so it was presented to us, um, and that, hey, Microsoft is interested in this, you know, and like we had a meeting in X amount of days. So that trailer was literally made over the course of 2 days because we had to get it turned around so fast to be able to show it. So it wasn't a script or anything like that for that one. It was just right into generating. So, just started generating images. Um,
Okay, wait.
um,
So wait, but so you start by generating still images, right?
yes. So we generate still images. And
And
at
you
that
go
time,
into like what tool are you using?
for that project, it was Midjourney.
Midjourney.
So
Okay.
yeah, used Midjourney to generate the stills.
And do
Um,
you start with like, okay, first thing is I gotta do stills of like the main character and then the alien, and like do you start with the characters when you're doing the still?
um, Not normally. I mean, now, yes, but then not so much. Again, this was when this project was actually made. It was so long ago, so many of the new features that are in the tools now were not available.
Mm.
So no, it was just like I literally went down the line. So like started with the snow, like how you see it in the trailer is literally how I genned it. Was like in that order. So
Wait, so you kind of had an idea of the story in your head, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew like the beats of where, like,
Uh,
just basing it off of locations from the game,
uh,
and showing it like for trailers. I always it's everything is different, whatever you're making. But
uh,
whenever I make a trailer specifically, the very first thing I look for is music. So I
mm,
find like music, like that'll be the very first thing before I even start genning an image, because I
I
want
see.
to have like a really dope track that I know I can cut to, like
Okay.
essentially
And
like
so
how you'd
like
make a music video.
okay, and so what did you do to find music?
For that one, I just went on YouTube. So
Okay.
YouTube's probably my favorite place to find music, more than like there's like other sites that I've used, for other projects like Artlist and stuff like that. But usually when I go on YouTube, I can find like incredible music, find the composer's email, and then you just contact the composer and be like, hey, you know, how much is it to license this track? Or, some of them are just literally like credit me in the YouTube description. You can use the music. And
Mm,
then some of them are just royalty free, and they have a download link in the
I
description. So
see.
then you can just go and click the link, download the music, and you're good
Do
to
you
go.
ever just like pull in the music, use it, and then once you've got something that you're like, yeah, I think this is the music that I actually want to go with, then like email the composer, or is it always like asking the composer first?
No, on the Untold one, I just used music because like I resonated with it so much, and I didn't know like what was going to happen, and I put out and it went crazy viral, and then the composer even saw it. I mean, that's how viral it went, that it managed to get around to him. He saw it and he loved it, and so then that actually sparked conversations between us, and that's and now we're doing work together. So it was really cool how that happened, because like technically I don't want to encourage people to do this, but technically you can just grab music and put it out, like you can put it on your video and put it out
Yeah.
there. If you're just doing social media content, like you have no intention of making money off this project, you're not going to sell it, you're not, like it's solely just for, hey, look at this social media thing I made.
Mm,
Usually you're not going to get flagged for that, but
mhm,
you still can. A lot of these composers are aligned with some form of a label, and when they're on that label, usually like they'll go through and do things, and Instagram is usually probably the hardest on that. Like I was doing that in the very early days of like AI stuff, before like I think anyone was like truly taking it serious, like as like an actual, you know, financial business. And I was just grabbing music that I liked and
Mhm, mhm.
sticking it on there. And now like I have two videos, like if you scroll way back down on my Instagram page, that don't have sound anymore because Instagram pulled it.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a very common practice, not necessarily the publishing, but like in doing commercials, you'll use temp music all the time, and sometimes you'll
All the
use
time. Yep.
whatever track that comes to you. And I have a friend who wrote and wrote and made a commercial, and he was using Bob Dylan track as like a temp track, and somehow the client but the client didn't have the money for that, but the client heard it, and then you know how the clients always get temp love, where it's like now you can't change the music because like they heard it one way, and they ended up contacting Bob Dylan and licensing a Dylan
Holy
as of
crap.
that. Yeah.
That had to have added to the budget substantially
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But pretty
because
good get.
music licensing with like artists like of that caliber can get really
Yeah.
really out of control.
Okay, so you found some music. You're like, okay, this is the right vibe. All right, and then you're going into mid journey, making stills. Like maybe you're even listening to the music, but you're imagining like, okay, open on da 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 da. You're kind of imagining a trailer and the sequencing of it. Is that kind of how it's going?
Yeah, I mean, uh, usually like I go through and so like I start generating. So I started with the snow scene, you know, and I generated that scene. I knew like in the game there's like a like Air Force One crashes and you're in the snow and all that. I changed it a little bit, made it more like a spaceship, but I just wanted this like the character's name Joanna. I wanted Joanna in this snow scene and stuff like that. Um, and then you know like the idea is like especially using this as a pitch piece, you got to like showcase all of the elements that we want to see. And so you know one of the times in the game Joanna goes undercover and she's wearing this like red dress, like this like which I put in the trailer, like this like fancy you know dinner dress kind of thing, and it has like a dragon on it. And and then you know showing you know Mr. Blonde, and then you know we have the stinger at the end where we show the where we show the opposing aliens who are also some of the humans. They're human, like some like Mr. Blonde is actually an alien. But yeah, like you know, like essentially just wanting to go down the line, showcasing the characters, showcasing different locations, and you know trying to put in that level of espionage meets action and sci-fi mystery there at the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there a little bit of like you kind of understand the sequencing that you might want to go for, but also you're just trying to get like almost like a list of what are probably the shots that I'm gonna want to put in this, regardless of like what order they're gonna go in.
Yeah, I mean it's for that one it's just so tough to say because like to be honest with that project I would call it like when rappers freestyle. It was literally like the most freestyle project there was because it was just like such a tight deadline and it was like this needs to get done and it needs to look dope. And so it was like okay. And so I'm just like as someone who played the game so much, I was just thinking of like, okay, this is a dope location. We can go here. We can do this. We can do that.
I see.
I wanted to make sure we covered like Datadyne and you know and all those things. So
I
like,
see.
but like that's why the dialogue in it is so minimal. It's you know like I think uh we have like I'm blanking on the character's name now. I want to say it's Carrington, I think is his name, but I can't remember. But we have him where he's like, you know, you don't understand Joanna, you have no idea how deep this goes or whatever, um, and then I can't remember the blonde woman's name. Whenever I'm immersed in it, I you know refresh all the character names and everything. But it's been so long since I was doing that project. But yeah, like it's you know it was very much like a freestyle approach of just knowing like you know I went from there then it was like okay I'm going to get a few cool shots of her going through this like dinner party that's at this like secret you know a secret organization and then she like breaks in. um
Okay, and so like So if you got, that's cool that you're just kind of like vibe filmmaking, right? Um, so okay, so you got the stills, you got the music. Then what tool do you use to make the video, or what tool did you use then?
For that one, I used one specific tool, and that was Luma Labs Ray 2. And now Luma Labs has Ray 3, which is absolutely incredible.
Mm,
But at the time, it was Luma Labs Ray 2, and I
okay.
felt like it did like a really phenomenal job
Mhm.
for especially like some of those like even though they're very quick cuts, but just to even give me those quick half-second beats and quarter-second beats of like the punching and stuff like that, just like where you could put together this like quick little actually looks like a coherent fight scene
Uh-huh.
because especially at that point in AI fighting was so bad. I mean, now it's evolved so much. Like you can actually put together a legit hand-to-hand fight scene with a proper
Mm.
edit.
Wow. Okay. Are you using Luma Labs Ray 3 as is that your like preferred tool these days, or like for
No,
video?
there's so the tough thing is like if you're going to take AI like very serious and you want to like make into a career and stuff like that, the workflow literally changes weekly, like
Uh-huh.
weekly.
Uh-huh.
And each project is going to require different tool sets of like what the tools can do best. But I would say my absolute like if you were to ask me like what are the tools that have so far stayed pretty consistent that I use, Luma Labs Ray 3 would definitely be one of them. Cling 2.5 and Cling overall is probably one of my all-time favorite tools. Uh, Google's VO3 is absolutely incredible. And then Cdance, which you can get through platforms like Freepik or Higgsfield. Um, Another one that doesn't get talked about enough is Midjourney Video. Midjourney Video is really really incredible. But yeah, I would say those are probably like my main video tools.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then now with Sora 2, Sora 2 is definitely moving into that conversation because Sora 2 Pro you can actually generate some really amazing stuff. The only issue is you can't do image to video because right now they restrict any people that look like real life images into their format, so you can only do text to video
I
to
see.
get like the real life looking people,
Uh-huh.
so it makes
Or
it
you could give it a photo of yourself, right?
you can do the cameo feature, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but it
Uh-huh.
doesn't like that's all fun for like social media content, doing things like that.
Uh-huh.
But like to use it like in a professional space where when working with commercials or working with film studios, they're going to
Uh-huh.
have very finite notes of what needs to be done and achieved, and unfortunately you can't do that with Sora 2. But I will say that Sora 2, when that came out, it really showed me where this is all going.
Uh-huh.
Um, where I do think in the very near future, people will prompt, whatever amount that is, and AI will do the rest.
Mm,
It'll
mhm.
create the video, it'll edit the video, it'll add sound, it'll add music, it'll do everything. Because the 15-second bits that I'm getting out of Sora right now, like I've been putting in like on some internal tests. Like at first, like when it first came out, I was just doing a bunch of dumb videos. But then as I started to like really like once Pro came out and I was like, okay, I can really like mess around and refine this. I started like doing like some of the ads that we have at Phantom, I started doing like breaking those like the whole ad as like, okay, if it was a 15-second cut down, what would it look like? And then I'd make that prompt and stick it in. And I was like pretty shocked with the results. Like I was like, outside of like the product not being like perfect because like Sora's not going off of it's creating the product from its mind as opposed to, having a reference. But outside of that, I mean, the pacing, the editing,
Wow.
the comedic timing, everything was like on point. And I was like, damn. I was
So
like, what?
if you wanted to do a 30, could you just take two of those 15s and splice
Yeah,
them
you
together.
could. There's definitely ways to do it. I would say the main thing is if it doesn't feature like a character that needs to be prominent, then you're going to easily be able to do it. But, that's again with the issue of not being able to put in a reference image of the
I see.
character. Like you're not
Yeah.
going to have that consistent. You'll have the consistent character for the first 15, but then that character could change on the back end 15.
I see. I
But
see. I
I
see.
have no doubt Sora. That's what I was saying. Like it's not now, but it could be. I mean, I do believe less than a year from now. I have no doubt they'll get that output up to 30
Yeah.
seconds, and then they'll also have it to where we're going to be able to add reference, and that's going to really change the whole landscape, specifically in the commercial landscape, because
Uh,
you're talking about, will ad companies even need to hire, like, I mean, will brands even need to hire, agencies and production companies if they can just essentially hire a couple of prompt engineers to go in
uh,
there and prompt, I mean, they could be turning out 50 commercials a day.
right. Well, hopefully it's not that because you still want to get paid, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
I would hope not, but at the same time,
Uh,
like I think
right.
that's the nature of the business. Like
Right.
this is tech and AI, and I always say with AI, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when,
Hmm.
because and
Yeah.
I think the when is getting so sped up because
Yeah.
uh, it's
Yeah.
advancing so
I,
fast.
I totally agree. It's like if you wanna do something that you enjoy and get paid for it in this current world, you have to be able to surf change constantly.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
like
the
that's just how it
change
goes.
changes has to be, you know change has to just be a welcome addition to life, because I genuinely think, and not trying to be selfish or narcissistic in saying that we as humanity live in the most interesting time in human history right now,
Hmm.
because I you've never seen evolution as fast as it's happening right
Hmm.
now. I mean, you look at what the 19 if you go to 1990 and then you go to today and you put the worlds side by side, they're not even the same place anymore. Like
Yeah.
that's how much it's changed in just,
Yeah.
what is that, 30, 35
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so I have one question I gotta ask. So, like, what do you do about contracts? Like, if you're dealing with a large company and you're using tools, some of which that have like hoovered up a whole bunch of artwork on the internet, some of it which maybe doesn't have the rights to, or like the rights are like a little bit, it's like a little bit murky, right? Um, and then you give that to for in a commercial situation, you give that to a company. You say, okay, where I'm selling this to you. Like, what do you do in your contract to protect yourself from getting sued by, like, let's say an artist says, "Oh, I'm going after this, big company that's running this as an ad," and I think it might not even be that there is any copyright infringement. It could just be that an artist thinks there's copyright infringement and is sued. Like, so how do you protect yourself in that situation?
yeah, so there's a lot of things. I mean, first and foremost, we make sure to sign contracts that we as Phantom X will assume none of those liabilities. So
Hmm.
if the client is hiring us, they are taking on those responsibilities if,
Hmm.
if they are to be sued. Second, we adhere to all the prompt rules currently, where you can't reference an artist in your prompting. You can't reference, like how you prompt and prompt correctly is, you describe lighting styles, you describe cameras, lenses, all those things, because that's no different than if you were on set. That's how you're
Hmm.
going to describe it. What
Hmm.
you can't say is like, I want this kind of a photo in the style of David Fincher, because
Hmm.
now you have literally just referenced a dude and his style of shooting. So if you
Hmm.
want something like that David Fincher look, break it down. Like be
Hmm.
more like, how does he light it? How does it
Hmm.
shot? How is it this? And then if you describe that, you'll get a similar look. But if it comes to legality reasons, there's no different. I mean, that'd be like if I shot it live action and I made something that looked like a David Fincher film,
Right.
like how are they going to sue me?
Right.
Why? Because
Right.
I emulated a guy's style. But I'm so that's the way it is. But there are also, rules with when we work with clients from Europe and each individual client where like sometimes they also give you an approved and not approved tool list where they will be like, okay, we can make the commercial, but like these are the only tools that we're okay using. And
Mm-hmm.
so then you have to, work around that and use those specific tools.
I see. And do you typically list the tools that you want to use in your contract and then let
No, but
them
we
back?
we give them like a tool list of these are all the tools that we use.
I see.
And
I see.
so then they can go through and be like, okay, yep, that's all good. Or they can be like, no, 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 no. Like, and remove like 5 tools. And then it's like, okay, going forward, we're going to have to like make this work with these ones.
Uh-huh.
But now there's such a vast array of tools, that it's made it, very beneficial, to be able to achieve, any of these projects.
I see. I see. Makes sense. Cool. Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to share in terms of your screen that you could show us?
Yeah, I mean, like I can show you guys, like just some of the different uh, tools that I use. Um, so the main one I would heavily suggest using, if you're like getting new into the space, would be Freepik. So this is Freepik. Um, Freepik is an AI suite that has uses an API and has all of the tools that I mentioned in one place. So, like, if you want to use Kling, if you want to use Minimax, if you want to use VO, if you want to use Sora, you can do that all here by, like, for instance, you go to the video generator and you can put your start and end frame, and then you come here and you hit model. So, like, here's all their models, like their auto. There's OpenAI Sora 2 Pro. Here's Kling 2.5, uh,
I
Wand
see.
2.5. Yeah. So then you just select one of these, and then you would put your image there, or you can just type if you're just going to do text to video. You can choose your resolution, 720 or 1080. You can choose your duration of 4, 6, and 8 seconds, and you can choose your aspect ratio.
I see. And so, and like, so, like, if you were doing that trailer, you put in like one of the stills, and then you would write in the prompt space like what kind of action you want to have happen, right?
Exactly. You'd put your image here, and then you would describe what, like, so for instance, what you can see here is this guy rowing in an ocean. You would
Hmm.
put this image of the guy rowing in the ocean, and then you'd be like, the man is rowing his boat towards the crashing waves,
Hmm.
and then you'd hit generate.
Hmm. And so,
It's Oh,
we
good.
see so much like fakey looking stuff in AI video. Is that like where you're just like, I mean, we're just like, oh, this is bad. But is that mainly just if you start with good stills, you're going to end up having quality video?
100%. I mean, starting with good stills or text to video. Text to video, like in the right models, comes out looking like real life, like really good.
Mm,
Because like Sora 2 and VO3 text to video, it's going to look incredible.
uh-huh,
Um, but but yes, the higher definition of an image that you give these models, the better they're going to perform.
uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
like, I mean, if you took like a still from a real movie, it's going to look incredible. And so like that's what you're trying to achieve when you're making, AI imagery is you want it to look like it's an actual still from a film because
I see.
then it's going to animate correctly. When you put
Uh-huh,
in like a cartoony looking shot, it's going to, come out looking cartoony and fake.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Got it. Cool. Well,
Um
so this
Here's
is
another
great
one
because
of
I
the
like
oh,
I hate like learning all like, oh, I got to go to all these different places to use all these different tools. So it's nice to just have one place you could go to use all the different LLMs.
exactly. And so like here with Freepik, you can also do it for your image generation. So you can come here. They have Dream, where you can use Dream 4, 4.4. They have Flux. Flux is I mean, my three favorite image generators are right here, and I use Freepik for all of them. And that's
Uh-huh.
Google's Nano Banana, Flux, and Dream.
Okay.
I jump between those three tools all the time. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll make depending on what I'm doing, but if I'm doing something more artistic, like in this piece that I'm making here, uh, what I would do is I would go make my very first image in Midjourney, my character. And then essentially through your character, you can bring that in down here with an image reference. And then you can use that character and put them wherever you want using Google's Nano Banana and Seedring.
That's
They're
cool.
like, so like essentially you need to make one shot. And like
Mm,
if you make it somewhere else of your character. And then
mm,
once you have your character, and like ideally make it like I would make two versions, a full body, well, three, full body front, full body from behind, and then like a medium close up for detail, like on
mhm,
chest face area. So like if you
mm,
want that like rich detail in the face,
mm.
um, and then just let her rip. And I mean, you'll be able to literally put them in any scene whatsoever. This entire piece that I'm working on right now, I can't show too much, but just because that's what's in my screen at the moment. Um, this character I have in multiple different worlds and settings, and it was all made from one single reference image.
Mhm.
And that's all
Wow,
through Nano Banana and Feedtrain.
that's cool. Okay, so how do you how do you work with others? Like, let's say you were working on this and you had a collaborator, and you wanted them to to be able to work on the same thing at the same time. Do you have the ability to share your project and be like, okay, I made it this far. Can you work on the spaceship scene or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, we do that every single day at Phantom. And primarily, actually, how we share is, we're not like in each other's like tool sets or whatever, but we have a Discord channel where we communicate. And with Discord, you can upload files upwards of, I think, 500 megabytes. So that usually works for all AI stuff before you get into an edit. And so we can just share clips and images and all that back and forth. And
But you
then,
don't
yeah,
share necessarily in Freepik. Like, you're not like, oh,
no,
here's
no,
what I
no,
got
we're not
for
in the
you.
same. We're not in the same page. We're all in our own free pick.
I see. I see. I see. Cool. All right. And then just to wrap this thing up around Perfect Dark. So you got all your shots done. How did you edit it?
Traditional way. So edited in Adobe Premiere Pro,
Hmm.
color graded in DaVinci, did all my sound design. Um, Sound design is one of my all-time favorite things. I think it's like absolutely necessary for projects. Like I think for
Yeah.
um, sound is the most like to me. Sound in music is sometimes more important than the visuals.
Hmm.
So if a film sounds correct and
Yeah.
like from the audio, like the dialogue to the sound effects to the music, if it sounds like a real movie, you're going to keep people engrossed
Hmm.
more than it looking like a real movie but not sounding
Hmm.
like it. It
Hmm.
usually it works the other way around.
Hmm.
So yeah, sound design. And for sound effects, I just use Artlist, like, and build sound effects, through like essentially you take multiple sounds from Artlist and you craft your own sounds out of those and everything. And then if there's like a very particular sound, like for instance, the alien at the end of Perfect Dark, when it's like, "Brah," that was actually Mike, the other co-founder at Phantom, like in his phone going like, "Brah," and then we like just affected it and edited it and everything to make it sound like this monstery demon. But
Uh,
he did a pretty good job of our base version of it actually sounds pretty
uh,
alien.
that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So, so you get it done. I'm imagining for something like that, your dream is, oh, I want this thing to go viral, or I just want like a lot of people to see it. Is that true? And then if so, like what do you do to try to help with like distribution when you put it online?
Yeah. So uh, there's kind of two sides of this coin. Um, Obviously, everybody wants when they in any format, whenever you make something, you want people to see it. But I don't chase going viral. I don't think that's not the type of like I like to look at myself as like I'm trying to be a true filmmaker, And when doing that, it's like I want to make stories that not only that, like, I mean, I think with anyone, if you're a creator, you should make things that you enjoy. Once you're not, if you're not doing that, you're not going to have like the love and the passion for it. So
Uh-huh.
like I write stories and create stories that I love and enjoy, and then I put it out into the world, and people resonate with it. Awesome. I think if you're chasing solely just to go viral, that's like kind of a different approach. I would call that like influencer approach. Like you're trying to be more of an influencer than maybe a filmmaker, because
Uh-huh.
that's going to be more of like staying up to date with like trends and things like that, like that are
Uh-huh.
happening right at that moment. Very much like having your finger on the pulse of like what's happening at
Uh-huh.
that moment.
Uh-huh.
There's definitely two different approaches. I mean, I've been very thankful to have a lot of my projects go viral, but when I make it, I don't think that's the intention behind it. It's just like, hey, I want to make something that's really good, like
Uh-huh.
something that I think like I enjoy it, and I hold myself to a standard of like I'm gonna try and make something as literally as good as I can make it, like
Uh-huh.
and that'll be endless revisions and stuff, and then however it resonates with people, is after that. But I think for me, my main goal and what we've been pushing for at Phantom is more of to prove ourselves as true filmmakers
Uh-huh.
so we can get studio deals with major studios.
Uh-huh.
And that, has begun to develop. I'm currently in talks right now with several different studios in early development on projects.
You have an
So
agent?
I have a manager. Yeah. Yeah. His name's Trevor Ingleson. He's the man. Dude's awesome. So, yeah. And through him, we've got some deals set up and everything. So that's kind of the move. And as the tools continue to progress, like I would say right now, even AI, you could probably make something that could go on a streamer, and I think general public for the most part would be okay with it even
Uh-huh.
now. But
Uh-huh.
realistically, I think we're about another year away. But I would say in
Uh-huh.
1 year, we're going to be at the point where AI, like a fully generated AI project, will be streamer and streamer ready and theatrical ready.
Wow. Wow. Cool. Okay. I want to thank you so much for showing up here and showing us how you do
Of
this. I
course,
learned a ton.
absolutely.
Okay, so let's say I want to hire you guys to do a commercial project. Where do I go?
PhantomX.ai.
Okay, cool. And then what about you do training for people that want to learn AI filmmaking, right? So like, what's the best way to for
Uh,
people to check
for
that out?
that one, go to curiousrefuge.com.
Okay. All right. Cool. Kevin,
And
thank you so much.
oh, sorry, last thing, I'm the advanced AI filmmaking course.
Okay.
Forgot
Cool.
to
I
mention
might
that.
take it. I might
Yeah,
take it.
because there's a lot of different courses. They have one for ads, one for music videos, one for beginner filmmaking, and then advanced AI filmmaking, and then they've got a VFX. I mean, it's awesome. It's like an all-in-one AI education platform.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being the first guest on the first episode of How to
Heck
Make
yeah,
Something.
let's go.